This is my 1962 Ford Falcon four-door station wagon. Picked this car up, geez, I don't even remember now, 2001 I believe. Had 28,000 miles original on it, but it wasn't without its need of a little bit of work, but it was mechanically stout other than knickknacks, and it needed exhaust very badly. But generally speaking, it was rock solid inside, outside, and having worked on all these cars with rust and problems for so long, I wanted to get a car that didn't have rust for a change. So I picked up this nice solid one, and the intention was to make it a daily driver, but it was just too nice. So it became more of a Sunday cruiser, and it now sports about 34,000 miles, with at least half of those being put on its first year that I owned it. I drove it to Nashville and back from Indianapolis for the Nationals. It was all red when I got it, but I had gotten it with this intent all along to paint the white roof and the white body line, so I added that. It was not original paint, so I did not feel guilty doing that. I am quite a purist, so to speak, so I don't like to tarnish something if it's totally original, but this car had just enough altered on it, despite its incredibly low mileage, that I did not feel bad about it. I tracked down original dog dish hubcaps for it and added the trim rings. It had rusty Baby Moons centers on it when I got it, and this car was too clean and original to leave those, so I did get the proper hubcaps. This is an absolute base model car. The only two upgrades that I've ever been able to determine on this car would be the roof rack and the automatic transmission, 2-speed. Other than that, it is absolutely stripped. Somebody has, at some point in time, well, as long as we're passing by, it needs a bumper replate. Somebody, at some point in time, added red carpet, which I really wish they hadn't done, because I much prefer the rubber floor mat look. But other than that, everything inside is original. Oh, and they also added 3-point seat belts, which, although they disturb the original look of it, you know, how can you argue with the safety advantage? And also for safety, I upgraded to a dual reservoir master cylinder. But it does now have 34,000 miles. It is a radio delete. And that little silver button there is the cigarette delete. Manual choke. Air conditioning is right there. A door in the floor. And I'll tell you the truth, you turn these wing windows around and open those floor vents, and you have no problem keeping cool. It has the steer head upholstery, and a lot of people look in here on a red car and see that brown and tan interior, and they think that this car was originally brown or cream and was repainted red, but that is the baseline upholstery with the tan dash, metal, no pads on it or anything, the simple center horn button. So that is the original interior. It was baseline. If you wanted interior to match your car, you had to pay for the upgrade, and obviously this car was not one to be getting upgraded on anything. It's got this, which you just don't see this anymore. Crank down tailgate window, which does lock, and everything operates on it great still. The release is only on the inside. It only comes down as a gate. It does not open as a door. That wasn't invented. I believe Ford was first with that in '66. It does have the rubber mat in the back floor. It's starting to get a couple cracks in it and whatnot. The original bias ply spare tire in incredible condition. Very happy that that was there. Set that aside. And then what you can do on this, not that it's an amazing feat, but don't mind all the trash. I use the under seat for storage, but you lift the back seat up and there's this bar, which is hard to do one-handed. The bar flips around to form legs, so that when that folds forward, it has legs to rest on. And then pop a handle, Drop it down, and you now have your extended storage bed, which isn't too shabby of amount of space. It's got the vacuum operated wipers, which are fun. I did replace the grill. I got very lucky and found an NOS grill on eBay. The person didn't know what NOS was or meant, and therefore hadn't advertised it as such. Scored it for $125, and any Falcon fan will know that a 62 NOS Falcon grill is not going to come at you for that price very often. Apparently this is my first time opening this. Jeez. Alright, I need two hands. Sorry about that. But it does have the 170 special straight six. Nothing special about it. Very simple, easy to maintain, and reliable as they come. Great little engine. Some people might call it the sewing machine. It's as good as it gets. There's the dual reservoir master cylinder with proportioning valve, one of the few upgrades I've done to this. Just had to replace the radiator recently. First time that was ever out of the car. I actually was only intending to flush it, and I slipped and shoved the screwdriver through it, so it's been replaced. Actually rebuilt. Original radiator, just overhauled. And then I did, because when I first got this car I was doing a lot of road trips, so I did replace the glove box with a CD player, which I keep, well hidden for the sake of showing. And you'll also notice that because this was a radio delete, there was no external antenna, and which would be right there in the fender. I actually routed the antenna through the firewall, and it sits hidden underneath the core support. Gets okay reception, good enough for driving anyway. And other than that, that is a bone stock car, but as pretty as they come, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and fire the sewing machine up as long as we're doing a video. Manual choke. There's my 66 Falcon, which you can also see on YouTube. My only non-wagon I own. Shifts right about there. That's the last time this car will shift. I've had this up to over 90, around 90, 95 on the way back from the Nationals, and all in second gear, and it just tootled right along. You'd be surprised how quickly a vintage car becomes just a car when you're 600 miles from home and all you want to do is get home. The way up, I was a steady 55. On the way home, I had her to the floor. Wish I had had a video camera back then just to show that speedometer cluster pushing 100. That's my 62 Falcon wagon. Left-hand ignition. Hope you enjoyed it.